Game 1 victory of the ALDS. The Houston Astros came out firing. First pitch of the game, Jose Altuve goes yard. The crowd was loud. They were in charge. We were ready for a victory, and we got one 6-4. Let's talk about a complete breakdown and a preview of Game 2 on this special edition of Locked On Astros.
Welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on the X at Eric Talks Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me on the X at H-Town Wheelhouse. They can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well at H-Town Wheelhouse and Stros411 on X, Facebook, Twitter. Look, wherever you get your podcast. I mean, look, Locked On Astros and Stros411. Dude, what a game, Eric. What a game. I'm all out of sorts tonight. I've had a long day. Got to the ballpark at noon today and didn't get home until a little bit ago. But what a day for the Houston Astros to come out of the blocks firing on all cylinders, it looked like.
Yeah, guys, thank you for not just in October, not just in September, but throughout the whole regular season, throughout the whole off season, for becoming everydayers, somebody that listens to our podcast every day. And all you have to do is subscribe. Go and hit that red button down there that says subscribe, and go and give us a big fat thumbs up while you're at it, and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. Make us part of your daily routine. And yes, this is what the second or third podcast I've done today. And it's off season. That's what we do. If I'm able to do stuff, if Brett's able to do stuff, we're going to do some podcasts just because we do it for you. And so, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody that tuned in at 11 o'clock earlier today. Thank you to all the 200 people that were live or with the post-game show where we did it right after the show. And so thank you for all that. But the Astros, they did it. They took game 1 of the ALDS. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit shaky from Justin Verlander, but he did something that he did not do a lot this regular season. We'll talk about that today. Alvarez, 2 home runs. One of them, they tried to prevent that home run, and it doesn't work. And when will people realize that doesn't work against Alvarez? Altuve with another leadoff home run. How many leadoff home runs does he have? How many career playoff home runs does he have? Where does he rank on the list? We do have that list as well. Hector Neris was a little bit off. I guess we could say he's a little bit off. Am I worried about him? No. Will he probably be in tomorrow's game? No. I don't think you'll see him in game 2 unless Dusty Baker just says, yeah, let's just get him back out there to just get the ship right. But I think he threw a lot of pitches, and I think we'll probably see him in game 3. But then we'll also take a look at the game 2 matchup. Framber Valdez versus Pablo Lopez. That's going to be epic, dynamic matchup. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. So, Brett, you were at the game. What was the atmosphere like? Were you loud? Were you screaming? Were you doing everything I told you to do?
Eric, if you know me, I don't need anybody to tell me how to act at an Astros game. Yes, sir, I did. I knew the assignment, and I completed it with honors. And the people around me did a great job. The crowd was a little sparse to start the game, but literally after the first couple pitches, the place filled up. And when Jose Altuve hit that first pitch home run for the Astros, that right there really set the tone, and it gave us as a fan base a lot of confidence, even though it was only one run, that you just knew that something good was going to happen. And not that I actually have an effect on the game or what happens. I know we're all superstitious as baseball fans, but I literally pulled up my phone and I said, I'm going to film this because I really think Altuve is going to hit first pitch out of the park. And he did. And then I pulled up my phone and I said, I really think the next pitch that Alvarez gets, he's going to hit the ball really far and hit a home run. 4 times I pulled out my phone today. There were 2 one-run singles and 2 home runs. So pretty good record with pulling out the phone right at the right time. And
really,
so
Brett, you didn't film any other times? It was just those 4 times?
no, I did, but you
Oh,
can ask my son. I called everything. When I
okay.
pulled up, I was like, something's going to happen. And so, hey, man, don't hate, man. Don't
Don't
hate.
make
But
me check your phone reel to see if you
no,
only
I'm
pulled
serious.
out the
No,
phone 4
dude, come on.
times.
Anyways, all right. That's not the point.
I know.
The point is this whole game, the Astros were in control. Early on, when I was looking at my MLB game day app, I was looking at where Justin Verlander was throwing his pitches, and he was purposely throwing away from the batter. He wasn't missing up and in. And I love the fact that he didn't give up a run, because you would have thought, though, just kind of watching the flow of the game, if you weren't paying attention to everything, you would have thought he gave up 8, 9 hits. And he really did well with his stuff not being sharp. That's why he is the game 1 starter. He's a veteran who knows how to get back into sync, because he talked about his last start. He felt like he had found something. Well, he came into this game, he was missing the strike zone, but they weren't bad misses. And that's where high-level pitching and high-level baseball intellect come into play. And I think that kind of experience is what the Astros have that the Twins don't have this series pitching-wise.
Yeah, and I know that I was at a watch party for a little bit. Then I had to bring my daughter home. But we were talking, and they kept on saying, "Well, Verlander's gonna get double play here," and it would happen. And I'm like, I don't remember Verlander getting a lot of double plays this year. And actually, this year he's only had 2 ground ball double plays all year, not in the same game. And so for this to happen in game 1 of the ALDS is actually pretty surprising. He's a fly ball pitcher. He doesn't get a lot of ground balls. If there are ground balls, they're typically like doubles or singles or something like that. So for this to happen is pretty rare. How rare is it? Well, the last time that Verlander has generated two ground balls in the same game was against the Twins on May 10th in 2022. Wow. So, yes, the Twins, something about the Twins, it just brings out the double plays for Justin Verlander, and he needed them. That's what you have in a veteran pitcher. Like, he's like, okay, I'm not going to go for a strikeout. I need a double play. I've already thrown 18 pitches or something at that point. So let me get 2 outs at this point. And that's what he did in first inning. He was in the same situation. He was allowing a lot of runners on base in second inning, and he got a double play there too. So I think that a pitcher like Verlander knows how to get out of it. And you saw him get better as the game went on. Most pitchers don't know how to do that. And that's that experience that he's had and his leadership and just everything that he knows how to do. And so I know a lot of people are saying, well, why did you take him out at 93 pitches? He's over 40, and you have a bullpen that's been dynamic all year. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to bring up something that Chris Cantilani said. He said that the Astros bullpen last postseason gave up 4 runs the entire time, or 4 or 5 runs the entire time, and they gave up 4 runs in this one game. So, yeah, this is very rare. The Astros in the postseason last year, their bullpen was their strength. And so what is Dusty Baker going to expect? Until he's proven otherwise, he's expect the bullpen to be nails.
So, to kind of double up off of that, because I had looked up Hector Neris September. He only gave up 3 runs in September. And when Castellani tweeted that out, because I actually retweeted that exact tweet from Castellani, and I was like, wow, 4 runs in 1 inning versus 5 runs over an entire postseason, like you just said, that's an insane difference. And that's going to happen. But Dusty Baker was asked, what was your thought process taking Justin Verlander out at that point? He said, look, we took Justin Verlander as long as we thought we could take him, and there was no point of basically thinking like, okay, let's extend him some more. Let's let him go out there. He had gotten some key double plays, and that was
Right.
massive for us. And so that's why we wanted to bring in our relief pitchers in the game. And so you love to hear that. So Justin Verlander was asked this question. I thought this was interesting. He said the Twins lead the league in home run. This is from from one of the press members. The Twins lead the league in home runs and have been a home run hitting team for a while now, and their offense really depends on it. I think 23 straight innings now that that you faced them without a home run. Is that a skill that you have, or is there a way to pitch in order to not give up home runs? And Justin Verlander said, I mean, getting missed hits is a skill. Missing barrels is a skill. I'm somebody who's prone to giving up fly balls in the air. So I think for me, I try to miss barrels, but I also try to limit base runners. And when there are runners on base, I think I try to stay away from. And yeah, I think I try to stay away from home runs. But with nobody on, especially given a lead, a significant lead, you're being aggressive in the zone. So I would say some of that is a little bit of luck, but some of it is intentional as well. And one of the things that Justin Verlander didn't do is he didn't sleep on the Minnesota Twins, because the Minnesota Twins are in the playoffs. And if you're playing fantasy baseball and the MLB players are here and that's your thing, you still got a chance to get 100 times your cash on daily fantasy baseball. Baseball has never been more exciting than it is right now, with studs like Justin Verlander, with guys like Yordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Royce Lewis, Christian Walker from the Diamondbacks, who's tearing up the Dodgers right now. You can pick more or less of the stats of the stars, like home runs, hits, strikeouts, and more, for up to 100 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. You can go to a group chat. You can bring in your friends. Y'all can talk smack. And what's cool is entries can be made in under a minute. So use the promo code Locked On, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. And catch the Astros playing the Twins Sunday night, Game 2 of the ALDS at 7:03 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch all the hometown play calls on SiriusXM. Go to SXM app, search Astros. Eric, the tone was really set early, and even when the Twins made that 4-run charge and they made it a 1-run game at the time, you were still hopeful because of the way they had scored. Chas McCormick with the 1-run single, Jose Abreu with the 1-run single. And I just want to say this, because I don't know if you talked about it or not on your instant recap, but Dusty Baker addressed why Jose Abreu didn't slide into second, or because they asked him, was he fooled or whatever? And Dusty said, number one, that's the fastest tag I've ever seen in my life. Right. Number two, he said he's got a big bump on his leg. He goes, when I say big, he's got a huge bump on his leg. And so he said none of us thought that the catcher was actually going to throw the ball either. So that's why he kind of jogged to first. And I saw some people saying, why didn't he slide? And why did he do? Well, nobody thought the catcher was going to throw it. And nobody thought Carlos Correa was going to make that tag. So with that bump on his leg, I'm wondering, is he going to play tomorrow? I mean, Dusty emphasized that more than once. And so you wonder, because he fouled that ball straight off of his leg. So we'll see. Question, do you think if he's out, do you think they start Diaz at first base?
Start who? Oh, Yainer Diaz. Yeah, they either start him.
I mean, who else would they start at first?
I don't think that they start John Singleton. I know John Singleton's on the roster, but I don't think that he would be on there. Right. You have Gray Kessinger. He could do that. I was thinking Dubon, but Dubon hasn't played a lot of first base, so I don't think.
It may be a perfect. Look, if Abreu is so sore that he can't really run, why? I don't know. Why
don't
not
put Brantley? I don't think you.
No,
you
I didn't even say Brantley.
Okay,
no,
I thought you were going there. I thought
I
was reading your mind.
Trying to read my mind. No, dude. No, I'm talking about Diaz at first. He needs to be in the game. I looked at the scoreboard at one point. Everybody had gotten hit in the game except Maldonado, and those are moments, and obviously it didn't affect the game.
Right.
Maldonado didn't play a bad game, but you would like Diaz to be in there to help contribute. This could have turned into more of a slugfest, you know. So I just wonder. I really have a hard time believing that we're going to see Diaz do more than a pinch hit here or there, which was just kind of weird to me.
I know I was talking to a friend, and he was like, "What's the over under of Diaz having 5 at bats in this series?" And all of us were saying like probably the under, because he may get a pinch hit here or there, but he's probably not going to get a lot of playing time, and that's a shame because he's probably one of your better hitters on the lineup. But going back to your first thing about setting the tone. Altuve, I think I said it wrong in my. I was so excited about it. I think I said that's his 8th career leadoff home run. That's his 8th career postseason home run in the first inning. So not necessary. So I did mess up
Okay.
that, and that's 2 more than anybody else in postseason history. Albert Pujols has 6 in the first inning in the postseason.
Wow.
So Altuve also has 24 postseason home runs. This is his first career postseason home run. You know the other 2 guys that have postseason home runs, leadoff home runs? Craig Biggio in Game 7 of the 2004 NLCS against the Cardinals,
Okay.
and George Springer in Game 5 of the
I like it.
2020 ALCS versus the Rays. So what Altuve did was he knew that the pitcher was going to challenge him, and so that's what he did. And I believe that he's also had some success against Ober in the past. And so what he did was he just challenged him, and Altuve did what he did and just hit the home run. And what was ironic was right before Alvarez hit his home run later, they're talking about pitching and everything, and or somebody got a hit or something. But Wainwright was like, yeah, you see how they were able to get Altuve out with the same pitch later in the game. But because he was pitching around it and then threw the exact same pitch that he homered on, he was kind of off. So his timing was off. And so,
Exactly.
so that's called pitching. And then he allowed a home run to, I think it was to somebody, or it was a double or something. And I'm like, well, maybe it was Alvarez's home run. So,
Well, Alvarez hit 2 home runs, and
yeah. So
Altuve
I
hit
think it
1.
was that.
Those are only 3 home runs, so it had to have been.
Yeah.
So this is the most home runs in playoff history, and I believe this is after Alvarez's first home run, because I believe you can give him a number 8 after this, because it looks like the timestamp is 4:40. I think that was Alvarez's first home run, was
Right.
about an hour into the game. Altuve with 24. He's behind only Manny Ramirez. Springer with 19, Correa with 18, Bregman 15, Beltran with 8, Gurriel with 8, Tucker with 8. Now I believe Yordan Alvarez has 8 with his 2, because he had 7 on this list. I believe he hit another one after that.
Yeah.
So he is right there with 8. So that's a pretty illustrious list. And when Yordan Alvarez is going yard like that, Eric, this is what's great. Scott Service tried to put in the lefty to neutralize Yordan Alvarez. What happened? Rob Thompson from the Phillies tried to put in a lefty to neutralize Yordan. And then today, Rocco Baldelli, the only left-hander he had in his bullpen, put him in, can't neutralize Yordan. Yordan is simply not only one of the best left-handed hitters, but one of the best hitters. And Justin Verlander was asked about that. And he said Yordan Alvarez is the best left-handed hitter in the game and one of the best hitters in the game today. And it's a great thing to know that he's on your team. And so absolutely love that. Just when this team's dialed in, and Eric, they won at home. They won the opening game. You remember all the worries and the fears people were screaming about? Right. Oh, no, we won the division. We're going to have home field advantage. We can't win a game. This is the playoffs. It is different. And to me, this was a very good win for multiple reasons. The Twins made a charge back, but then they spread the lead more. And then Ryan Presley just came out and closed the game and looked absolutely dominant, Eric.
Right.
So,
hey, before we get too far from Caleb Thielbar, he actually has not allowed a home run to a left-hander all season. He allowed a 128 batting average to lefties all season.
Now,
So
has he faced Yordan before?
I don't know. I
I'll have to look.
remember when they faced the Twins, Alvarez was out. I
Okay.
believe that Altuve was out. So that has a lot to do with the 2-4 record on the season.
So that would be my answer to, well, okay, he's not allowed a home run, but has he faced Yordan Alvarez?
Well, yeah, but I think that's why Baldelli brought him in
No,
because
exactly.
Yeah.
No,
but you have to look at just like we're talking to the Twins Locked On guy and said, you don't say we want Houston, because even Yankees fans, after somebody posted that video, Yankees fans are like, oh, sweep coming. Just because they have a history. They know what not to do. Next time, they're not going to chant, we want Houston, because they got swept. And then who else? The Phillies said it too. And they didn't get swept, but they got beat.
And now I will say this. Some of those fans may be able to claim a little bit of ignorance. Ignorance just means you're not aware of something.
You're not paying attention if your team's not in it fully.
Yeah, and I get that. Well, actually, I don't, because that hasn't happened for us for 7 years. This is a beautiful run we're on. And look, if you like the playoffs or NFL, you need to go to FanDuel. Snap into action with the NFL season right now. It is here, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new to customers, you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, for only $5. It's a pretty good return, especially with inflation the way it is. You might want to jump on this deal. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in the action than now. Look, if you're a Houston fan and you're a Texans fan, you see what they're doing. You can vote. You can bet on the Texans spreads, player props, over unders, and so much more. Look at the way this offense is firing. D'Amico's got them going in the right direction. You may want to jump on this before Sunday, before they play the Falcons, which is very favorable for the Texans to win. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
And guys, you can check all the play-by-play action. If you're on the way to the game or back home from the game, or just for whatever reason you can't watch the game, catch all the play-by-play action on SiriusXM. I did that the other day, and it was awesome experience. And you just download the SiriusXM app, just search SXM, and you can, I had game 1, game 2, potato, but I go and download the SXM app and search Astros, and you can hear all the play-by-play action. And if you want to listen to the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers right now, you could totally go to SiriusXM and do that. That's just what's awesome about this. So going into before we go into next game, because I think we're still into this game, I do want to talk about the pregame ceremonies. I know that they probably had the flag ceremony, like they had all the fans go onto the field with flags. They probably had all the typical stuff. And I think Josh Reddick did the let's play ball, right?
No, not today.
Josh Reddick did not do let's play ball.
No, it was the space. No, that's in game 2.
Oh, game 2.
It was the Space City Home Network. It was Todd Callis,
that's even
Jeff
better.
Blum, and Julia Morales. Yeah, it was really cool.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But also, Mattress Mac was supposed to throw the first pitch. That did not happen. Do you have any insight into what happened there?
Well, I mean, he posted on his Twitter. Y'all can go look at Mattress Mac on Twitter, and he basically put out a video and said that he goes, I was all ready. He said he had talked to Reggie Jackson. He said, Mr. October told me make sure I warm up so I don't throw my arm out throwing out the first pitch. He said, just like I did in Game 6 of the World Series last year. And he said, he said, he goes, I got my jersey on. I was ready to go to the game. And then I got a call from Houston Astros saying, well, mattress firm
run of 7 consecutive postseason berths began. So going back to Hector Neris, he allowed some traffic. He gave up the big home run. That home run was a big blast. And then you have the solo job to Royce Lewis. Royce Lewis is having himself a postseason so far.
He is.
But Brian Abreu came in and shut things down. And so there are several keys to today's game. And Brian Abreu coming in, doing what he did, then coming in and pitching another inning, bridging the gap to Ryan Presley. And Ryan Presley, let's not look past. I know he struggled at the end, but he is now 12 for 12 in postseason save opportunities, and he's just doing awesome since going back to last season. So that's why I said something happens in October once the postseason starts. And you even heard Chas McCormick say that. I think even Ryan Presley said that. Once we get to the postseason,
Yeah,
we've been here before. We know what to do, and we just know how to perform.
So Brian Abreu has basically, this guy is on quite a tear. He is, I think, 23 straight innings scoreless or something like that. And what's funny is when the reporter asked Dusty Baker about this, Dusty Baker, first thing he said was, "Hey, don't say that, please. Like, don't jinx the streak he's on." But he said, "Look, the guy's confident. His confidence is high. He's throwing strikes. He's using his fastball and his slider. He's been great." That was a huge hold for Brian Abreu to get, especially to pick up your teammate. And then Julia Morales asked Ryan Presley, how big was that? She goes, how big is it that Neris comes in, gives up the back-to-back home runs, and then all of a sudden Brian Abreu comes in and holds it? He goes, that's just what we do. He said, not everybody's going to execute every single pitch, every inning out. And so when you get in there, it's so key for you to be on your stuff. But he said it gives you more confidence to go out there on the field after someone like Brian Abreu picks you up.
Right.
I think this bullpen, Eric, is I would match it up against anybody. I just think this team has hit its playoff mode. And I know it's one game. They haven't won the series. I'm not saying that they're going to sweep. I still think it's important to win game 2. I think it's important to go to Minnesota up 2-0, especially with your ace, Framber Valdez, going on Sunday and their ace going on Sunday. So if they can go out there and they can produce some crooked numbers and Framber is in control and has his stuff, then going to Minnesota in 2-0, you could realistically look at a sweep. I still say Astros do it in 4. I think the Twins get a game here or there, but I don't think they get more than one game on this Astros team. But they all have to be played. And the Astros are taking it one game at a time. They're not going to put too much in front of themselves because they know it's the playoffs.
Yeah, Pablo Lopez is going to be on mound versus Framber Valdez. We know what Framber Valdez has done in playoffs. He's had some good times, he's had some bad times, but most recently he's been a little bit more reliable. And the wild card series, Pablo Lopez got the win. He's 1-0 with a 1.59 ERA. 3 strikeouts. He has more than 200 strikeouts this year. I think It was like 249. He's having a great season. So he is definitely the Twins ace out there. And outside of Justin Verlander, Framber Valdez is probably the Astros ace. So this is going to be a tough matchup. And the Twins do, from what I remember, they do struggle a little bit actually, they're pretty even against lefties and righties. So
they are.
Yeah. So you can't really look too much at those type of numbers, but overall, I just think that something else that we kind of glossed over is the fact that, yes, you had Alvarez with the 2 home runs. You had the leadoff home run by Altuve, but you had to get some other runs to kind of hold that lead. And you had Chas McCormick and Jose Abreu. I know Jose Abreu had that brain fart or his hurt leg that couldn't make him run fast later on. But when the Astros were,
it wasn't a brain fart. I just don't think I think a lot of things happen. I don't think he could really run at that time.
Well, yeah.
I think he genuinely believed.
I think he was surprised too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what Dusty Baker said. Like, nobody thought the catcher was going to throw the ball. So I don't think it was now, watching on TV and not hearing the post-game press conference and not hearing the comments,
right?
Yeah, totally. The aesthetics were horrible, but that it wasn't a lack of effort play. So
yeah. When I say brain fart, doesn't mean lack of effort. It just means he just wasn't aware that. Nobody thought that would have happened that quickly. That's what I was saying. So, but Abreu and McCormick got the RBI singles and to make it 5-0 at that time. So those were both keys. Yeah. So yeah,
that was huge.
in the other podcast, this is kind of running joke. I was like, if I put, I borrowed this from my friend. I went to his watch party. I said, what if I put Kate Upton back there? Would anybody notice on podcast? And in the live one I did earlier, somebody noticed, a few people noticed at the end, and now people are noticing at the end. So yes, Kate Upton is back there on loan for right now. She's not going to be there for too long, but her husband did pitch pretty well tonight. So I thought it'd be pretty good to have her up there. So any closing thoughts before we kind of transition our minds to game 2 tomorrow?
I just think, gosh, Texas shocked the heck out of Baltimore with the 3-2 win. Philadelphia blanked the Braves 3-0. And right now the Dodgers are just putting it on. They knocked Kershaw out in the first inning. Look, it's going to be crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy who ends up. Can you imagine if the Astros do make it back and it's the Phillies again? That's crazy to think. And I'm starting to think, look, if the Astros and Rangers keep doing what they've been doing, we may have an all Texas ALCS. And dude, I'm here for it. But Lord, please let us win that if we play them, because I do not want to hear it from Rangers Nation.
All right. And by the way, today is only the second time the Astros and Rangers have both won playoff games on the same day. The other time was October 8th, 2019. The Astros won against Kansas City, and Texas won at Toronto. So the more you know.
I'm all for this. If y'all want to set up a GoFundMe, independent of me, I'm not going to set it up, but you set it up, you send me the money on Venmo, I'll go to all the playoff games at home. I'll do that. Well, I'll be at game 2 tomorrow anyways. So don't worry about that. Streak is alive. 12-0, baby. 12-0 in the playoffs. Let's go.
That's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you become an everydayer. Go and subscribe to us. Press that red button down there that says subscribe and give us a big fat thumbs up. And go and listen to us on Odyssey, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. And we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully talking about a Game 2 victory and Go Astros.
That was a great game, by the way.
It was good?
It was great.
All right.
Brain fart.
See you tomorrow. Go Astros.